I'm Paul Simon for Social Media Today, and I'm here with Jill Konrath, the author of Snap Selling and Selling to Big Companies. She's also the keynote speaker at the annual Leadership Summit of the American Association of Inside Sales Professionals, and this is the premier event of the year, the marquee event that takes place in mid-April. Jill will be talking about the new way of selling. So let's start by asking Jill, why do we need a new way of selling, and what exactly is that?
Great question, Paul. There's a lot of reasons that we need the new way of selling and the new rules of selling. And I honestly think it's not grounded in us and wanting to do things different. It's grounded in the fact that we have customers who have changed. And we have customers who are extraordinarily well educated. They're extremely busy in their organizations. They know how to find out information about any of our products or services online. They can research us as a human being, and they're very well connected that way. And so if we keep doing things the same way that we've always done them, they have typically only one response to us, and that is to delete us. They can't wait to delete us because they've got so much to do that all they can think about is how they can have fewer emails in their in basket and fewer voicemail messages to have to call people back. And so they literally take perverse pleasure in sitting with their finger on the delete button and, sending us into oblivion as soon as humanly possible. So unless we change what we're doing, we don't have a chance in today's business environment.
Well, sales is largely have an image of being traditional, maybe old-fashioned, and slow to change. What's different today?
Well, sales is slow to change, and I think that's why people like me are out there. We're trying to preach that there are new ways and that things have to be different in order to be successful. I think one of the biggest challenges is that a lot of people who are in leadership positions today were actually brought up in a different world, and they are still promoting what was effective for them maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, before the internet became popular, before email, before voicemail overran people's life, and before the economy crashed and everybody was running in a lean and mean environment. So, all these things are kind of coalescing, and people literally have to change what they're doing. And unfortunately, the traditional remedy for selling in challenging times is to make more calls and to simply get people on the phone and make more prospecting calls, have more demonstrations, have more proposals. And it's like there's this whole thing around more is better. But the reality is you can make 50 calls that are bad and get no response, and you can make 100 bad calls and get no response. And the real thing that we have to look at today is how can we increase the effectiveness of what we're doing so that we can make as few calls and as few touches as possible and get the maximum return on our personal sales effort. And nobody is really looking at that. They're really looking at, for most companies, they're really looking at, we got to get people doing more. It's not a function of more. Certainly, there's a quantity that has to be done in order to maintain a prospecting level and to have enough, prospects in your pipeline. But the reality of it is, we need to focus on improving the effectiveness of our salespeople so that they can be really good in dealing with our prospects who are extraordinarily discriminating today.
And busy, as you point out here busy. And in Snap Selling. So people are so crazy busy. Is social media, in terms of social selling, is this a culprit in giving people so much problems today, or is it making it easier for them?
Oh, the answer is yes. Yes and yes. Is it a problem? Social media and everything that can go along with social media in terms of blogging, going on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and all that kind of thing can consume an extraordinary amount of time, and it can suck people away from what they might call productive activities. On the other hand, social media and social selling is an incredible tool for savvy salespeople who want to really make the right connections, who want to learn about people before they contact them, who want to understand what the company's business direction is and what their priorities are, who want to invest time in becoming an expert on the organization and doing their homework before they get in, or doing their homework not just on an account, but on an industry or a targeted demographics so that they're really savvy. I mean, I really believe that we can't be successful without social media. We absolutely need it to be successful, and the smarter we leverage it, the more effective we will be as salespeople.
Is that being smarter include perhaps enlisting such tools as Inside View and others that provide detailed sales intelligence
absolutely.
on prospects?
Absolutely. I mean, a salesperson who's operating without sales intelligence tools is operating with their hands tied behind their backs. And again, I'm going to mention a couple of things. Sales management, when I talk to some people, they'll say, well, we hire people and that's their job to do prospecting and do that research on companies. And, you know, and I don't need to use companies like data.com to get lists or Zoom Info to get, you know, lists of prospects. It's my salespeople's job to find out who to contact and what to do. Well, that's like really stupid from a productivity standpoint. I mean, why wouldn't you give your people the tools that they need? And companies like Inside View, which deliver alerts into your inbox, into your CRM system about events that are happening out there, either within a company or in their general business environment that could impact an opportunity or create an opportunity for a product or service. Those kinds of things are crucial for getting first mover status, for being in the door before your competitors, for positioning yourself as an idea person who understands what they're going and has some ideas and insights and information that can help the customers achieve the results that they're trying to get. All those kinds of things make salespeople much more powerful and worth meeting with and worth having a relationship with. And failure to invest in your salespeople and give them the tools that they need is really handicapping them in today's business environment.
Let me ask you a final question, Jill. And I agree totally with what you just said. I spent a lot of time running the group, the Customer Collective, and the Social Customer, and helping out with socialmediatoday.com. And our thought leaders frequently are saying the same things. How is it that you always seem to have the pulse on what's needed today to make the strongest connections en route to being successful at your selling?
That's a good question. I really listen a lot, and probably my greatest personal skill is that I have the ability to listen as if I'm my client's customer. And so when I get hired, my clients themselves will actually sell to maybe HR departments or IT departments or the marketing departments, whatever, and I'm hired to get into their customer's mind and to listen and to hear what they're doing from their customer's perspective. When I'm able to do that, I'm able to see what works and what doesn't work. And I know when I put things in my customer's perspective and see it from the customer's point of view, I can literally tell what is going to capture my attention and get me to want to return a call or send an email back or set up a meeting with people or even continue a conversation from an initial meeting. It's personally, it's a skill that I've developed. I think every rep has the ability to develop that skill of actually entering their customer's mind and watching their own behaviors from somebody else's perspective. But when you do that, you're actually able to see what will happen when you say or do something, and then make the changes beforehand so that you can, if you run it, you don't create the obstacles, you correct them before you actually make the mistake. And so to me, that's one of the things that I like to work with people on, is how to teach them how to actually think as if they were their customer, because when you can do that, you can significantly increase your effectiveness today.
Well, you certainly do that well in Snap Selling. I know that this is cited by so many people who put together lists as one of the top new selling books. So congratulations on that. And Jill, I will see you in Dallas at the Leadership Summit.
I'm looking forward to it, Paul. See you then.